This will be the entrance into the ballroom. The ballroom will be right here. This is a beautiful glass tunnel. Beautiful tunnel that goes right into the ballroom. Ballroom's right there. Pretty good, right?
You've had so much fun, I feel like, designing this.
Well, I did. It's going to be one of the greatest. I would say it will be the greatest facility of its kind ever built, by far. There'll never be anything like it. And we're ahead of schedule. We're right on budget.
That's par for course.
And it's a gift from me and from great patriots that, you know, it's going to cost the country nothing.
My View host Lara Trump getting a sneak peek of the new White House ballroom, where construction is currently underway despite Democrats fighting tooth and nail to shut it down. Lara Trump joins us now. Lara, I've been around the president when he's talking about construction. It doesn't matter if he's talking about Bedminster or the White. He gets excited. He's really excited. So what did you learn from seeing the site so close and having the president who designed it explain to you what was going on?
Well, I love that about this whole interview with him. You're right, Rachel. He gets so excited about these projects. This is who he is. He's a builder at heart. And so one of my favorite parts of this is when he interacts with the workers. You know, if you've been to any construction site with Donald Trump, you know, he doesn't go to the head of the project. He wants to talk to the people who are on the ground to ask them about how things are going. So he interacts with a lot of the workers. But this is so much bigger than a ballroom. And he talks about it in our interview tonight. There's an entire complex below the ballroom.
Right.
There's anti-drone technology. There's so much more going on there. And I just love how excited he is. And he acknowledges, you heard him there, the taxpayers are paying $0 for this. He got private funding. I'll remind the Democrats again for the entire ballroom project. But he says, look, I'm only probably going to get to use it for like 6 months. This is really for future presidents, for the future of America. And what a gift it will be once it's completed. It is a huge site, and he talks all about it tonight.
You know, long before the president said, you know, the ballroom would have been a solution to what had happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, I had been on the floor and waiting for Sean to come back, and my husband Sean to come back into the, I knew he was going to come back to get me after he was taken out. And I waited, and he came back, and his detail said to me, if we had a ballroom, this would have never happened. And then when the president said it, I mean, that was the first time I heard it was from Sean's detail. So there's absolutely national security reason why it should happen. And you're right, there's a whole complex underneath. And if you use taxpayer money, they would have complained. And now that he's using private money, they're complaining. You can't win either way. Let's move to this, because you also talked to him probably about the most important issue that is facing the country right now, which is we're in a war. It's a conflict that's, you know, dividing the country in many ways, and it's ahead of a midterm. The president has been fighting really hard to get a peace negotiation. Here's what you talked to him about the war and the midterms and his agenda. Here's what happened.
I'd imagine if you could have timed things perfectly, having a conflict just in front of the midterm elections at a time like this isn't ideal.
So you have really a very small window. So if you wanted to play that game, then you would wait till the midterms are over, and then the following hour, you'll attack Iran, because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Most people agree with me on that. But then it gets maybe carried into, you know, the next election, whether it's a midterm or not. So you have a very short window for doing anything having to do with war. But I don't view that window. I view it, I have to do what's right.
Laura, I had the same question. I'm so glad you asked it, because he was about to see this economic boom happen in April. And so many people were like, why couldn't you have just waited till after the midterm? I know Marco Rubio said our partner Israel had something to do with that. But the president's telling you, no, he felt like it was much more imminent, the nuclear threat.
Well, yeah, I think this president wants to do what's right, period, Rachel. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. I go back to actually before he announced running for president in 2015, and he sat down with our whole family. And I remember him saying, you know, if I only have one term in office, but I do the things that are necessary and right for this country, that's okay with me. He has never looked at things as, oh, well, this is politically advantageous, so let me do this. He looks at things as, is this right for America? Is this right for our future security. And that is 100% what you got with this Iran situation. Of course, the president didn't want to have a conflict with Iran just ahead of these midterms. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have had to do this, but the can got kicked down the road. It landed in his lap. And much like so many other things with this president, he's the one to get the job done, whether we're talking about Maduro and making sure that, he's held accountable, whether we're talking about ensuring Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. You remember first term moving the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. How many presidents said they were going to do that? This president did it. He's interested in doing what is right no matter what. And so I think he deserves an immense amount of credit for that. Obviously, the hope is that this wraps up very quickly. We're hoping maybe in the next couple hours we get a solution here, but he's going to do what's right no matter what.
I hope we break it on the show. But Laura, you asked all the tough questions, and I'm really grateful that you're on. That was a question I certainly had, and I'm glad you asked it. And everybody can watch the entire interview. It's riveting with Laura and the president tonight at 9 p.m. on My View, which, by the way, I just want to congratulate you. Your show is doing amazing. Your ratings are fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
The interviews, the travel that you do, it's been great. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll see everybody tonight at 9.
All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.